I'm telling you right now, Benty, right? When I was about, I think I was about 19, 20, we played Inter Milan, right?
As you do.
In the San Siro, right? And by the way, Liam Brady was playing for Inter Milan, and he was sensational that night. Absolutely sensational. They had a front three, wait here us, of Franco Calzio, right? Alessandro Altabelli and Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, right? They battered us. But anyway, they had this boy playing at the back, a young lad. I think his name was Daniel Giuseppe Bergomi, right? And he was into all those tricks, man. Pulling the hairs at the back of your legs, right? Him and Colavati. And I've turned around and looked at this big Bergomi, and I swear to God, he'd one of those big. I think he was only about 17, and he'd one of these big Graham Souness, Tom Selleck moustaches, man. And I can remember the fear, and the blood just ran out my body, man. Right, I'm telling you that. Eventually I was just hanging my arm and going, nip me again, man. I was terrified of this guy. Terrified. And then Colavati was the other one. But the Italians, I thought they were always a little bit ahead of the game in terms of the wee nasty bits.
What about talking on the pitch, Ali? Would there often be sledging during games of football, or was it mainly dirty tricks?
No, plenty of sledging going on. All the time, man. I remember a wee boy, brilliant. A wee boy, I think his name was Freddie van der Hoorn, played with Dundee United. And he used to wear contacts, and his eyesight wasn't that good, right? And me and Mo Johnson were playing up front with Rangers against Dundee United, and Dundee United went to make a substitution, and the boy held the board up, and I walked over and shook Freddie's hand and says, well played, mate, thanks for the game. And he looked over and he couldn't see the number, and he just ran off, and it wasn't his number. He gets about 10 yards for the halfway line, looks up, it's not you maniac, get back on. And he came around shaking his head at 2 as we're in hysterics, man.
That's a good one, that.
Walked over, shook his hand, thanks for the game, mate, that's you. And he's run away off, and it wasn't him. Oh, brilliant.
So you were quick-witted as a player as well,
I miss that. I miss all that stuff, man.
What about as a manager, Ali? Would you ever, if you were coming up against a player that you knew was in good form, would you ever tell one of your players to leave one in on him early, or have a word with him, put hairs on the back of his leg?
Well, you just can't do that now. It's simple. The game has changed totally. I mean, Benny was saying that was a regular occurrence going down the tunnel before the game started. The verbals would be flying then, and to be fair, some of the tackles you could always get away. Maybe the standard line used to be, it's my first tackle, ref. You
can't tackle now.
You don't get away with that now. No.
Before you start, just be very, very careful, because I have to inform the listeners that David was my first ever roommate, okay, at international duty. So good luck with us today.
Correct, and that's where it started. As we roomed together when we were both Scottish youth team players. And
who was that, Inverclyde?
It was, well, we were away with Scotland. We were playing in different tournaments, the youth tournaments and stuff like that at the time. But what I would say is, I remember I'm getting my debut for Celtic, and Billy McNeil, who sadly passed away, and it's his funeral tomorrow, had told me that I'd be making my debut. I'd come on the Saturday as a substitute against Hibs, and I'd be making my debut on the Wednesday night against St Johnstone, who at that time had a young centre forward who was doing really well by the name of Ali McCoists. So I remember, my mum and dad were obviously really excited. Son's going to make his debut for Celtic. So they're getting up on the Wednesday morning, tiptoeing about the house. Don't make any noise. No, make sure David gets a good sleep in the morning. Don't wake him up. So they're away to work. Mum and dad's away to work. The phone rings 9 o'clock. Who's phoning? That time there was no mobiles, really, So I have to go away up, down the stairs to answer the phone. Phone's ringing.
It's the pest.
Coisty's on the phone 9 o'clock in the morning. And I remember I'd done a piece for the Daily Record, and the headline was, I'm ready for McCoist. All I got on the other side of the phone was, are you ready for me?
And by the way, clearly it was, because they beat us 4-1.
I think you scored. That was the worst part. Coisty was working in the tax office in East Kilbride.
What? That's right.
Coisty was working in the tax office.
There's a bit of a double agent to that.
I knew there was something dodgy about it.
So he's keeping his eye on you.
No, I didn't know that. Inland Revenue, away you go.
It was more of overseas development, but I was keeping an eye on things up there.
Unbelievable, the taxman. No.
Even the younger lads coming through were characters. Charlie Miller's story he told us was brilliant.
Charlie Miller, man, honest to God. Charlie, we Durante used to do my boots. When I first went into Ibrox, we Durante was my boot boy. Derek Ferguson was in there. We signed Ian Ferguson, obviously, but Charlie's a good player, you know. Oh, he was a good player. I can still remember his first day. I mean, he was never, ever going to win a gold medal for shyness, wee Charlie. Right, seriously. He was outrageous. His first day, right, this is his first day. So he comes in and he's not even training with the first team, right? So I'm sitting and we finished the training up in the dressing room. This head comes in, the first team dressing room. Now, if I'm him and I'm my first day, I don't get anywhere near the first team dressing room, right? Anyway, head comes in the first team dressing room. Oh, Coisty. Right, I'm like, who's that? Turning out the door, wee Charlie Miller. Oh, Coisty. I said, well, yes, wee man. I says, what is it? He says, you're Fisco Bride, aren't you? I says, as a matter of fact, I'm Calderwood. I says, I'm Fisco Bride. He says, oh, that's good. He says, I stay in Castlemilk. Can you give me a lift up the road? I mean,
Brilliant, eh?
and by the way, I've ended up giving him a lift up the road. You know, I thought, oh, what a brash neck. But that was him. But no, wee Charlie came into that dressing room, and as I say, it wasn't long before he was getting changed up in our dressing room. Terrific talent, terrific. He's one of the best I've ever seen at taking the ball on the turn, wee Charlie. You know, he could fire it into him. He had a lovely touch and he could take it on the turn. But I mean, with some seriously good young boys coming through there, you know, Derek Ferguson and wee Durante, man. I mean, some good young players coming through. I mean, Durante and Derek Ferguson, you know, a little bit unlucky. And I know they played a couple of games with Ian Ferguson in the middle of the park as well. You know, that at that time there was a real good talent, particularly youth talent coming through at Rangers, you know.
You've said that winning things, you were there for the whole 9 in a row.
Yeah.
How was that night at Tannadice when you clinched it?
It was amazing. I mean, loads up header, man. What's that all about?
Charlie Miller cross.
Charlie Miller cross.
He never shot of it.
You on? Was Charlie getting you a few quid in that? You on?
The plugs keep going,
Are you on?
I've got a pair of shingas for you after this time.
No, you're absolutely right. I think it might even have a left-footed cross on the left-hand side. Charlie Miller and Brian came in and headed it in the way that only Brian could. Not a hair in his head moved. He still looked gorgeous. I remember giving him a kiss after the goal, thinking, wow. I mean, that was just Brian. What a football player he was. But he didn't score too many with his head. But that night at Tannadice was special. But it was relief. It's strange to try and explain it, but it was relief because as good as the team were and as successful as the team had been, we'd probably been known as the team that didn't win 9 in a row. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. So that was more relief than anything. And that relief I remember more than the disappointment of not winning 10. To be fair, I remember the relief at winning 9 because you always felt that we might have been remembered as a team that didn't win 9 when we should have.
How was the night out after that? Good?
Wild. Absolutely wild. We didn't have too many quiet ones, to be fair. We were in it. I remember coming back, we drove around George Square, I think. George Square was jumping with Rangers supporters, and with a night out after it, which was obviously celebrating the victory and the championship, and it was absolutely amazing. Look, that's the one thing I say. We did play hard, we worked hard, but we played hard. I mean, some of the celebrations we had after good victories were brilliant. I mean, one of the games down at Leeds United, we beat Leeds to get into the Champions League, and I remember. I mean, they're a proper team, the English champions, McAllister, Strachan, Cantona, you know, good team. And I remember we beat them. The first person in the Rangers dressing room after that game celebrating was Sir Alex. Aye.
Was he?
Aye. For a couple of reasons. I think the Manchester United manager didn't mind seeing Leeds getting beat, but also Scottish football. He was obviously very, very proud Scot, Sir Alex, and he was just delighted that a Scottish team had beaten the English champions. And I remember Walter Smith saying after the game, because we stayed in Manchester, and he said, right, I don't care what you do or where you go, but the bus leaves at 9:30 tomorrow morning, be on it. And we were all on it at 9:30. minute past 9:30, Stuart McCall arrived, right, looking as though he'd enjoyed his victory the night before. So anyway, Stuart got a kip up the back of the bus, and I remember Walter saying to him, "You up the back of the bus," and Stuart saying, he said, "There's a game at the weekend," and Stuart said, "But Gaffer, it's only Celtic." And he went, "You get up the back of that bus," and sure enough we did with Celtic at the weekend. I think.
Brilliant.
Can I throw a name drop in it? You can.
Go on. You're going to throw a massive one at me.
It doesn't come any more massive. In 1998 at the World Cup in France, I was in the very fortunate position to sit down and conduct about a 20-minute interview with none other than Pelé.
No way.
I'm telling you.
How did it go?
Oh, well, I thought it went brilliant. I don't know how Pelé thought it went, but I thought it went super. I'll tell you, but Jamie, I'm not kidding you, mate. I was sitting there like a wee boy shaking. Just to meet somebody that, you know, I said yesterday.
Did he know who you were?
I didn't have a clue who I was, don't be on it. No,
come on, he must have.
Well, he'd have been briefed, yeah. But I was talking to Woodsy yesterday. 1970 World Cup was the first World Cup major internationals I can remember getting in there. Look, I can see your wee face. You've got a line to put me away. I can see it. But anyway, you need to save it. You need to save it. You need to save it.
I was going to ask if you if he knew the film that you were in.
I'll tell you what I will say. My film was a lot better than his.
I was going to say it was a lot better than the interview.
Anyway, 1970 World Cup. I remember it was my first World Cup. I can remember as a wee boy, 7-8-year-old boy, sitting watching Pelé and Rivellino and Jairzinho and Carlos Alberto to sit there. And you know what I always remember about the interview, Jamie? The first thing he asked me about, he kept asking me about Billy Bremner, right?
Yeah.
Because I think we go back to about 1974. Scotland played Brazil in the World Cup. And Bremner was absolutely immense that particular game, and I think he left his mark on Pelé and a few of the Brazilians, and it obviously registered. It stuck in Pelé's head, and he was asking, he was effectively asking me if Billy Bremner had cooled down. You know, oh, it was a magical moment. I've got
amazing.
to say to you. The night before Scotland opened the World Cup against Brazil. And we had a party, all the Scots boys it was ridiculous. It was just an official who's who of Scottish people, right? It was just magical, absolutely magical. And obviously Sean Connery was there, Sir Alex was there, Jackie Stewart, Rory Bremner, you name it. And it was just absolutely brilliant. And Sean, I can remember Sean, just really let his hair down and had an absolutely fantastic time. And I was telling the story... Gospel truth, Woodsy. We're all up singing, there was bands on, there was music, everybody's just going crazy for the whole... I mean, it went on to, I don't know, but whatever time it went on to. And I was singing Bruce Springsteen, right? For the band, right? This is true. I was singing Bruce Springsteen with the band. It was either Born to Run or Dance in the Dark or something like that. And I turned round, and my backing group was Kenny Dalglish, Ewan McGregor, Sean Connery, Gavin Hastings, right? And I thought to myself, Bruce Springsteen couldn't get a backing group like this. And Sean Connery, at one point, Sean had the top off. He had the top off, bare chested, giving it plenty. So, I mean, what a man. Just absolutely fantastic.
I'll give you a bit of information, my old son. I've been on stage with Rod Stewart, okay?
I'll give over.
At Madison Square Garden. How's that grab you? All right?
Beat that.
Madison Square Garden?
Yes. Or as it's known in the trade, the Garden.
The Garden. I have to ask Andy McCoists, how on earth did you end up on stage with Rod Stewart?
Scotland team are there, Ray. Brilliant. Yeah. Before the Euros. It might have been before Euro 96. Or it might have been before Euro 92. Anyway, Rod's playing at Madison Square Garden. I think it was 96. Craig Brown's the manager. He said, right lads, we're going to see Rod Stewart. Brilliant.
Yeah.
He says,
what part of this? I like Craig Brown.
Well, wee Brownie was brilliant. Fantastic wee Brownie. So we were training. We're over in America, in Connecticut, doing the pre-tournament. And Rod's playing in Madison Square Garden. And wee Brownie had a meeting after training. He says, right lads, he says, we're going to see Rod Stewart at Madison Square Garden. He said, we're training in the morning.
Brilliant.
You can have one, maybe 2 beers. Right.
One plus 2 beers.
Well, there's footage of it knocking about. If you see the Scotland team on stage, if you see the Scotland team on stage with Rod Stewart at Madison Square Garden, I can guarantee there's more than 1 or 2 beers been taken.
Boys, who did the dodgiest haircut in your dressing rooms? Ali, who was murdering your dressing room?
Oh, I'm trying to think. Oh, I remember wee Durante. Remember wee Durante broke into the team when he was 18 and he had that barn that looked like a beehive, man. Honestly. I swear to God. And the team photo, Gabby, he looked about 6'4", and then he got his hair cut pre-season. He got his hair cut pre-season. He was about
5'10". And Gabby, Goldilocks,
I can't
you
comment.
laughing at, by the way?
I can't comment on anyone's hair. I lost my hair at 22, I think it was, Ali, so I can't comment, boys.
He's not the only one who's had a bad hair day at work. Let's go down memory lane, Mr. McCoists. Let's go back to 2019.
Oh man, I've had a disaster.
What's happened? Well, I can see what's happened, but how did it happen?
Right, I went into my normal barbers, right? I did that. I went into my normal barbers. But we Turkish boy in Renfrew, right? And I looked at him and I thought, something different about him today, right? But I thought it was the same guy.
Oh.
I can now inform you it wasn't the same guy, it was his brother, right? So I sat down in the chair.
You look like something like a Clockwork Orange.
Oh man, don't. Anyway, I sits down and he looks at me and I said, normal one, right? Because I get it all the time. I said, right, normal one, right? So he looks at me. So he said, all over. And I went, yeah. I'm not kidding you. He got the ant-bag razor thing and drew a big tram line. He started it right up the middle of my head.
And once that happens, there's no way back.
So he must have looked at me and my jaws clearly hit the barber's floor, right? And he went, number one? I went, normal one, you stupid looking. Anyway, it was a disaster. So, 15 years ago, frankly, I wouldn't have bothered my bonnet, but
I know you look alright.
I know, but it might not be back. That's my point.
I remember that show, Ali. That was funny.
Hey, listen, the best lot, boys. But you remember, see, I've reached the stage in my life, Gabby, you've not got there yet, but Big Al know what I'm talking about. When he took all my hair off, it was as if somebody pumped about 6 kilos of helium into my head. My head just looked like this big. I just looked like a big, giant 10-pin bowling ball, man. I thought, disaster.
Is that what you're holding on now? So a bit.
Me? I've given up, don't worry.